A botched police raid of an innocent family leads to a woman 9 months pregnant being shackled to a hospital bed as she goes into labor. And as investigative reporter AJ Legault reveals, it was all over a mix-up involving a stolen snowblower.
How many weeks pregnant are you? 38?
A pregnant young woman locked behind bars, sobbing, in pain, confused.
I don't know what I did, why I'm here.
And soon will be taken to the hospital in shackles to give birth to her first baby.
It's horrific. It's absolutely horrific.
What University of Minnesota pediatrics professor Rebecca Schlafer calls horrific, civil rights attorney Nick Sweeney labels
it's completely illegal.
What led to this? Even the lawyers involved struggle to explain.
Well, that's a good question.
A KARE 11 investigation discovers the answer is a twisted tale involving a shoplifter, a snowblower, a police raid, and gunfire. It's a story that starts in an unlikely place, the Maple Grove Menards hardware store. Menards notified Maple Grove police that surveillance footage showed a thief stealing off store shelves and returning the stolen goods for store credit. The store credit then used to help buy a snowblower. The snowblower purchase traced back to this Dayton home. Armed with a search warrant, Maple Grove and Dayton police surround the house, one wearing a body mic, but no cameras.
Please, search warrant, open the door, please. Please, search warrant, open the door.
Inside, Faris Hussein and wife Sarah, who've asked we not show their faces. Sarah cooking dinner, Faris wearing headphones playing computer video games.
Open the door. Open the door before I boot it.
Just 27 seconds after first knocking, officers kick in the door.
Please, search warrant. You all right, Matt? Oh, I got it. Get down! Get over!
Later, at the Hennepin County Jail, both Sarah and Faris gave recorded statements.
I was playing games, and then I heard like a smash on the door. That wasn't even enough. Like a smash, boom, boom, boom.
We were so scared. My husband started shouting and told me, call the 911, call the 911.
I grabbed the gun, and I look. From the window, I see a guy in civilian clothes. Looks very angry.
Faris says the only person he saw through the blinds was this guy, Maple Grove detective James Kirky in plain clothes, no police markings. The raid team parked down the street, so there were no police cars in sight.
Basically, I had not even 0.01% suspicion that he is a police officer.
Thinking it was a home invasion, Faris, using a legally licensed handgun, fired 3 times. Warning shots, he says, towards the ground. One out a window and 2 more through his kicked-in door.
Shot fired, that's
Dayton
police.
Sergeant Greg Burstead fired back. His bullet flew past Faris, through the home and into a neighbor's house.
Get away from that window, Jimmy.
One of Faris's went through the bottom of Detective Kirky's long coat.
911, what's the severe emergency?
The panicked couple, still thinking they're being attacked, call 911.
I shot someone and someone shot at me in my home. Hurry up.
Yeah, we have people on the way.
As officers rush to the scene, those already there call out.
Faris, come out of the house with your hands up. This is a stupid search warrant for a snowblower. Come on with your hands up and give us a snowblower and we're good.
Guys, you're police?
Yes.
What the f***'s going on?
Well, you're shooting at us. I'm scared shitless,
Yes,
dude.
because you broke in my house.
No, we had a search warrant like we said. Okay?
Search warrant for what?
The snowblower, dude, in the garage.
A big misunderstanding. Faris is no thief, just a guy who bought Menards store credits from an online marketplace to save a few bucks, says criminal defense attorney Dan Guerrero.
It's crazy. You got cops coming to a house in plain clothes, pounding on the door, breaking in the door in less than a minute.
But Faris was arrested and charged with use of deadly force against peace officers. An engineer, he lost his job as the allegations hung over his head for nearly a year and a half. The prosecution eventually dismissed the charges in May, For lack of proof, he knew it was the police breaking in.
You had an innocent client.
I had an innocent client.
But Faris wasn't the only one arrested after the snowblower raid. Despite being 9 months pregnant, Sarah was taken into custody, kept on what's known as a 36-hour probable cause hold.
I don't know what I did, why I'm here.
So we can fully investigate to determine if a crime was committed.
Arresting my client, holding her while she's pregnant, which she did absolutely nothing wrong here, and treating her the way that they did is completely unjustifiable.
Nick Sweeney just filed a federal lawsuit claiming Sarah was denied medical care at the jail for nearly a full day, despite asking to see a doctor because she was in labor. After her water broke and she was taken to HCMC, she was shackled by the leg to the ambulance gurney, to her hospital bed, and when she went to the bathroom, even had both legs shackled together.
You're claiming that the sheriff's deputies broke Minnesota law.
Absolutely. It's a violation of international laws. It's a violation of human rights.
Minnesota law bans restraining pregnant women unless necessary for legitimate safety and security needs. The American Medical Association calls the use of shackling during the birthing process a barbaric practice that needlessly inflicts excruciating pain and humiliation.
They're just lucky the baby didn't die, or she didn't have some sort of hemorrhage.
Professor Schlafer is also research director for the Minnesota Prison Doula Project and was instrumental in advocating the legislature pass the anti-shackling law. She reviewed the case for KARE 11.
What was your first thought when you read through this case?
My first thought was this is a very clear case in which the law has been violated at every turn.
In the middle of active labor, Sarah's 36-hour hold was up. The lawsuit says deputies unshackled her and just walked out of the delivery room, leaving her there alone to have her baby. She was never charged with a single crime. Hennepin County Sheriff David Hutchinson refuses to discuss the case, citing the pending litigation, but sent a statement saying they take the allegations seriously and are investigating them. Maple Grove Police Department also declined comment.
Wow.
It leaves you speechless. I mean, in the middle of the story, I said you feel like there has to be something more.
Yeah.
This cannot
More
all be
than a
over a
snowblower in a
snowblower.
garage.
Even if they did steal it.
There's nothing else there.
Wow.
The story does keep going on, though. They tried to deport Sarah after this, claiming she had been charged with firing at the police when in fact she was just arrested on a 36-hour hold and never charged. But the family went through hell trying to get that squared away so that Sarah wasn't kicked out of the country because of this.
Wow. Thanks, AJ.
Wow.